Great to be here. I welcome you. In fact, artificial intelligence has changed my life completely. In the last years, everything I've done was shifted. We've been a development company for apps. We've created over 1,800 apps. And 2 years ago, everything shifted into the direction of artificial intelligence. To my person, I'm not a doctor. As a medical doctor, I'm a doctor in nanotechnologies. This presentation will be not for dentists as it will be in general about artificial intelligence. My background is in something where we create geeks. I myself am a geek or nerd. We spend most of the time in front of the computer. My team are all geeks and nerds, and we love doing what we love. So, if you look at artificial intelligence in general, it's always important to understand this area is extremely broad. It's nothing that I could describe in one presentation, all those different areas of artificial intelligence. It's an entirely huge space. In one sense, I like a lot is AI is intelligence demonstrated by machines. That says about everything. So it's really focused on what the machines can do. Today, I will focus on a specific area, a very focused area, which is the communication part, communicating with customers, communicating with companies, and the artificial intelligence there. In general, if we look at AI, we consider automated intelligence behavior. That's what drives the AI technology in itself. We do machine learning. It's important that we don't simply follow strict rules, but we have a learning algorithm. And in fact, if you, at the end, go over and look at the Check Komet app we've created, it's a learning system. And in a learning system, you need lots of data. And that comes to the point of deep learning. If you want to use deep learning, you need massive amount of data. And I'll talk a lot about Google, because Google is one of the biggest players in the world, of course, because they have a lot of massive amount of data and a massive amount of money. They were able to do an incredible job on creating artificial intelligence. I'll show you examples on how this will look like. Also important is the cognitive, emotional, and social intelligence. We are at a point today where we can recognize your emotions, not only visual. In my case, if we talk, I have a voice, and what I say, there's an emotion attached to it. We are today at the point where we can recognize your emotions while you talk. I mentioned that I'm focusing on the communication part. And some characteristics, why do we do this? The reason is fairly simple. We don't want any wait time. So if you call somewhere, and you call a restaurant or somewhere else, and you are waiting for somebody, that's annoying for our end customer. Even in a dentist, if I call there and somebody doesn't answer the phone or it takes too long, whatever, it's annoying. So we want to reduce wait time. We want quick resolutions of issues. If you go to Amazon, you buy something, you have an issue. If you book a flight, you have an issue, you want to get that instantly resolved. You don't want to wait in line. You don't want unnecessary questions. You want quick resolutions. Prompt escalation, of course, but what I find most important is really the commitment that the companies, if the companies use AI, is give to their customers in providing a good communication. Extremely important is that AI is a technology, and it doesn't matter which channel it uses. And in many cases, we have companies that struggle with the fact that we as end users try to go through every channel possible. I mean, we have people that simply Twitter to a company asking for a response. Now, if that's a big company, they will have people doing this, and they will be able to handle every channel. But imagine, I would say that a dentist should definitely answer a request via Twitter to his customer to get an appointment. You would say, this is nuts. It doesn't make any sense. But out of the user perspective, it does make sense. Okay? If he thinks he wants to use that channel of his choice, then he should use that channel. The question is not, are you willing to answer or not? The question is, do you have the technology to answer? So being able to take the broad variety of all the channels with one technology is one of the biggest values of artificial intelligence in the communication. And then, most important is it's a system that can learn. So it's nothing that we put in a certain algorithm and it follows exactly that algorithm. It actually learns on the way. For example, the system we have here, we started out with 50, 60 scans to test. And over the last weeks, we've scanned and tested and scanned and tested. And while we did this, the algorithm got better and better and better. And not by programming it, but by giving that data into a system that starts learning and starts understanding patterns and does a better pattern recognition and tries to find errors, etc. And that's a benefit of artificial intelligence. So over time, we will get more data, and over time, the scanning will become better and better, and we will be able to put in more models. Now, the commitment to the customer is something that I've been focusing on the last 2 years when it comes to artificial intelligence. It's how do we engage with the customer, and I want to quickly now go into some examples and show you some examples of what this all is about. And I call it the rise of the human agent model. So really the difference between the human and the bot itself, the computer bot, is almost not to be seen. And I want to show you now the different stages of artificial intelligence in communication. The first stage, and astonishingly, this is the stage we are in right now. So if you look at our society right now, we are in the middle of the AI technology stage already. It's the human interacting with the AI. So I'm calling the AI, and the AI acts. That's something you have if you call, let's say, the booking center for your airline. They will not answer the phone with a person, but they will ask you to say what you want to say. And they have an AI system behind it, answering it and communicating with you. This is state of the art today. More complex is then if we come to the point of AI to human, a direct communication from the artificial intelligence to the human being. And that's when I want to show you an example. And in fact, a lot of things started last year in April when the CEO of Google had a big presentation. And he presented a product called Google Duplex. And I just want to show you a 1-minute clip out of that, and then I will explain what's so great about this.
With the assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. You know, we are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
How can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around?
At 12 p.m.
We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15.
Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for?
Just a woman's haircut for now.
Okay, we have a 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. is fine.
Okay, what's her first name?
The first name is Lisa.
Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So when I saw this last year, it was just last year, April, it blew my mind. And not because of the technology. I knew this is something we can do. And I knew Google was working on it, and I saw the algorithms, and we tested things. Now, what blew my mind is something completely different. What is happening here is that Google enables the end customer with AI, not the customer, not the companies. So Google is going out there, giving everybody in the world the possibility to use AI to do a booking of an appointment. And if you now look at like a dentist, don't be surprised when soon our cell phones and our AI will call the dentist to make an appointment. Now, it will not be a human being. And the reason Google does this is to force the other side, meaning the companies then, that's why I said AI to human, company AI to human, or private AI to human. It's a big difference. So we're going into the market with going to the end user, getting him a better experience, and then forcing the companies over that experience to do the same thing. And that's something that will be, is already taking place in the US. It is happening right now here. When I saw that, I'm a keynote speaker at Google. I got a call about 2 months later, asked them if we would want to check the system and work with that technology. And of course, we said yes. And we started creating our own bots, voice bots, we call them, with that technology. And the way it works is every time it's always the same. In the end, it's a three-phase approach. We always talk about what is your intent. So we always try to find out the intent of the user calling. I want an appointment. I want to order a book. That's an intent. Then we put this in a context. Yeah, have I said something before? Did I said, no, I don't want that. I want a different appointment. I want a different time, etc. Is in the context. And then we take an action. And we take that system. In fact, that's something you all can go home and do already yourself. You can go back, you type in Google Dialogflow, and just play around with it. That's a system operated by Google. I think the first 1 million calls are for free. It's a lot of fun, and you can start playing. In fact, I did it with my son, and we had a little argument. I said, stop playing with the iPhone. Let's do some programming. And we programmed a little system. So in the morning, he wakes up, says, OK, Google. Phone goes on. OK, Google, is there anything in school? No, it's Ausfall. And then it says, no, you're in time, everything's fine, or is somebody sick? And it answers to me. And that's even something my 11-year-old son was able to do. Now, to give you a better example on how this can be done in a real-life environment, we've programmed this in German. So the next video is in German. I apologize for it, but it's something we've done. And it was done about half a year after Google announced Google Duplex. That should show you how quick this progress is, how fast we are in putting those things in place.
Herzlich willkommen im Autohaus Beresa. Ich bin der automatische Terminassistent und kann Ihnen bei der Buchung eines Reifenwechseltermins behilflich sein. Einen Moment bitte. Es geht um das Fahrzeug mit dem Kennzeichen ELXX79. Und Ihr Name ist Thomas Müller. Ist dies so richtig?
Ja, klar. Das bin ich.
Ich werde jetzt mit Ihnen zusammen einen Termin suchen. Einen Moment bitte. Wie wäre es denn nächste Woche am Samstag, 17. November oder am Freitag, 23. November?
Nein, lieber Anfang Dezember. Geht das auch?
Wie wäre es denn am Dienstag, 11. Dezember?
Ja, das passt.
Am Dienstag, 11. Dezember haben wir noch Termine frei um 7 Uhr und um 15:15 Uhr. Passt Ihnen eine dieser Zeiten?
2:45 passt gut.
Sehr gut. Dann halte ich folgenden Termin fest, am Dienstag, 11. Dezember um 15:15 Uhr. Stimmt das so?
Ja, das stimmt.
Okay, dann habe ich den Termin jetzt so eingebucht. Ich schicke Ihnen im Anschluss noch eine SMS mit der Terminbestätigung. Bis dahin wünsche ich Ihnen noch einen schönen Tag. Auf Wiederhören.
So this is something we created, and interesting was that when we created it, we're a number of geeks and nerds programming. We came to a point where we suddenly had to deal with language. So we had to get somebody in that helped us literally with language design. How do we communicate? What words do we use? And it's something we're optimizing right now with Google. And important is that the basics everybody can create with Google, with a dialog flow. Important is the connection to the back-end systems. And in the Google presentation, it was said that 60% of the companies don't even have an online booking system. In Germany, this is far more. And if you look at the car dealerships, for example, it's way more. And that's one of the biggest issues, is getting the companies to have a system where you can book into the booking system. As soon as we have that, putting the AI on top of it is simple. I can just change out the words. And also important, that's something we've done here, is it recognizes my telephone number, it goes into the database and pulls out your name and address and everything and uses this. It's important to give a good user experience. And if I call a dentist, why shouldn't he say, "Hi, Steven, I know who you are, what do you want?" Then at least I don't have to identify myself. I can say, "No, that's not me, it's my wife calling," whatever. But that is extremely important. Now, all of this is something we can do today, and all of this is something that you will find happening in the next months. Literally, this is coming over. It's already put in place in many, many companies in the US. Lots of companies do it now in Germany. We get lots of funding through the German government to develop those systems. And they get more and more better and better. And even in the last half year, we noticed that the algorithms got better and better from Google. It's incredible what it gets. Now, I want to take a next step, what is a little bit the future, and then look far into the future. One very important aspect will be AI to AI communication. So why would a computer talk to a computer? It's a fairly simple thing. If I am able to call as a person a computer, or vice versa, it will start that my digital ego in my cell phone will call the dentist. The dentist will be fed up with all those calls from computers and will put a bot there, and then those bots will talk to each other. The opportunity is there, and what will happen, and I've made a little video, what is thinkable, what's easy to happen, is that you book a schedule with a dentist, let's say cleaning, and this will be in 3 months, and my calendar will understand that a different appointment comes in, which is more important, and will simply call, without letting me know, will simply call the dentist. There will be an IA on the other side, and they will agree on something, and a new appointment, either earlier or later. In the end, I want something to get done. I'm not interested in an appointment per se. I want my teeth to be cleaned. And I don't say I want this to be cleaned in 2 weeks on Wednesday. No, I want it to in a certain time period. So we're changing. Right now, what we're doing is we're letting the system define how we interact. And with this, we will just give what we want, which means I want a dentist appointment somewhere in the next 1 or 2 months. Please organize this dynamically with a dentist on the fly, and then put it in my calendar. And so as soon as we have that, then we have true AI communication. And if you think about this, and now really go a little bit further, and that's my fourth level of evolution in this case, and we could argue when this would be, because I can go back about 5 years. I made a presentation on AI, and everything I presented, which will be in 30 years, is already done today. So I was a bit off. But most important is that if my my phone or my AI creates an appointment for me, it will learn who I am, right? It will understand what is my personality. It will get my emotions. It will learn who is Steven. What will Steven be doing in the future? What will his decision be, most likely? So over time, it will get an own ego, and I call it the digital ego. And this digital ego will be extremely strong, and it will be evolving with you. It will be very small when you're 5 years old, and it will grow with you, and will get more intelligent. It will be an exact duplicate, I mean, literally an exact duplicate of you. So there will be no difference between you and your digital ego. Why should there be any difference? It's an intelligent system. And I know it screws up your mind thinking of it, but in the end, if it's in 2077, hopefully I'm not alive anymore, I don't know, the digital ego will evaluate and make the decisions for you, giving us spare time for other things we like to do. For example, sit on the beach and drink a glass of wine, hang out with friends, etc. And it will take care of my daily business for me. And most important is, what happens when I die? The digital ego will be there. And it will continue to be there. And it will continue to do my business. So the question of eternal life is answered. So that would be eternal life, literally. If you like it or not, that's a different question. And that brings me to the end of my presentation.